Not yet.
Hang on, put you on television. All right, now we're good. Come on up to the podium, Tom. Thank you for coming this morning. This is Tom, from Austin Avenue, Church of Christ. First, I'll call the meeting to order, declare a quorum, call the meeting to order. Item number 2 is our prayer. Tom, I'll turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Dear Heavenly Father, I want to thank you for your presence. I want to thank you for your blessing. Father, as these men and women gather today to talk about the business of Brown County, God, this is our home. And so I'm asking that you give these men and women wisdom. I'm asking that you give them insight, compassion, and mercy. Father, give them visions and dreams so that they can see what would be absolutely best for the most people that live here. Father, thank you for what you do. We thank you for the rain yesterday. We ask that you just continue to bless us with rain. And Father, again, bless Brown County and bless us with an opportunity to glorify you by the way we live, but also to reach out and help those that are in need. Father, thank you. It's in Jesus I pray. Amen.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking, we appreciate you greatly taking your time out of your morning to come over. All right, item number 3 is citizens' comments. I don't have anyone scheduled to speak. Item number 4 is consideration approval of minutes from November 9th. No minutes.
The 9th was already approved last week.
Oh, was it?
16th is not ready.
Okay, so I have no action on item number 4. Number 5, consideration approval of any treasurers or auditors report. Anything for us, Justin? No, is that no? Ma'am, what you got?
I have my policy approval, but, if you wanna do it now, we can, if you want me to wait until number 11, L, I mean.
Yeah, let's hold off, you mind?
All right, no, I don't.
Well, we have 2 J's. General session. There's 2 J's. We'll go to J1 and J2. All right, then, I don't know if y'all wanna do 6 now or come back to it.
I'll be glad to come back to that and look at it all.
Okay, we'll come back to item number 6. Item number 7 is our consent agenda. We can approve these all together all at once, or we can take them individually. Our policy is to take them individually. So item number 7A is Commissioner Kelton with regard to any action on the burn ban.
I guess we're gonna have to leave it out. We didn't get the rain. The north part that y'all got down here, y'all have a measurable map, but I don't think we did. So I don't think we're taking action should the rain on out of the rain.
You all in agreement? No action? All right, so I have no action on the burn ban. Item number 7B is Lisa Dick from the Health Department, the busiest agency in the county.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, just a quick update is I guess as long as y'all want me here and as our cases are continuing to go up, then I would like to report to y'all on a weekly basis instead of the bi-weekly basis. So, the previous week, ending on the 13th, then we had an increase of 159 cases during that week. This current week that we finished up on the 20th, we had 218 positive cases. Those are new additional cases, and we have a new graphic that will be probably about once a week that will go out. And if y'all want to look at this just kind of gives a review of what that looks like.
And this was close of business Friday.
Close of business Friday. And so before that, we had 125 the previous week. And it had been all the way back to August that we had a bigger number, 124, the week of August, ending August the 7th. So you can know that our numbers are going up, and you can just pass that around if y'all want to look at that. Okay. So it also, we saw an increase in active cases. The increase was 136 additional active cases. At the end of the previous week, we were at 238 active cases, and Friday at the close of our day, we were at 374 active cases. So There is a mobile testing that will be done today, starting at 10 through 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Gordonwood. So for those that want testing, and that testing is free. Today, there are 16 inpatients at Brownwood Regional, or at Brownwood Hendrick Hospital that are COVID positive. A couple of other things happened this week. We are more aware of vaccine timing and additional vaccines that should be coming soon. Maybe the first round for first responders we could see as early as before the end of this year.
And that is, we're just waiting on FDA approval now, right, on 2 or 3?
On several. And so we're hoping to see that. We also, because of the increased cases and our inability to get to all of the new cases every day, and then in addition to that, we know that our funding will be not available after December the 30th. We have made some changes to our processes. And so the things that our general public will see is that orders will not be delivered by a server anymore. We did have someone that delivered those individually to their home. So for a positive case, we will give them the option of us mailing those to them, or that will be done by email if they want it done that way. For cases, we call them every day and talk to them, monitor their symptoms, and make sure that they're safe and okay. We were also doing that with contacts. We won't be doing that with contacts anymore. We will be calling them and providing an informational sheet and information that they need to quarantine and the date that they would need to quarantine. And then they could use that paper to provide to their employer when they would be okay to come back to work. But other than that, that would be the only communication we have with them unless they turn into a positive case. And so that will help us save time and spend more of our time on the actual cases versus those contacts. So those are the main things that will be changing. I don't think that those are all the changes that we'll have to do, but that's the beginning of our process to transition to the decrease in funding. We still will have some funding that through the end of March that is state funded through public health preparedness.
We have, on another agenda item later in the meeting, I'm going to discuss with the commissioners about temporarily assigning the personnel we talked about.
Okay, that's good. I'll stay for that.
It'll be at the very end. I can call
That's
you if you
fine.
like.
I'm fine. I've got that much time. Do y'all have questions or concerns?
You can add to that. Good news.
Thank you, Madam. All right, so there's no action on item number 7B. So item number 7C, Jennifer, where's Jennifer go? Okay, I'll come back. I can come back to those. They're kind of lengthy anyway. 7, I'm gonna skip 7 and C and D and E temporarily and go to 7F. Sheriff, are you back there?
He is not here.
Anybody from the sheriff's office?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. All right, well, I can't see that far. So, our new podium is awesome. You got, it gets the microphone closer to you, but at the same time, it blocks my view of those sitting in the audience. So item number 7F, discussion of RFP for inmate phone system and possible approval of awarding a contract of the inmate phone system in the sheriff's office.
Morning.
Good morning.
So, our job count right now is 197.
197.
I'm sorry, 168. 197 would be that. 2 weeks ago, we received RFPs for our phone contracts. We've taken the last 2 weeks to go over extensively the RFPs to see what we felt would be in the best interest of Bryan County. And now we are back to ask for the Commissioners Court permission to accept the The contract from CTC.
CTC.
Tell me again, CTC?
Yes, sir.
I'm scrambling to see what we have here. I remember they came in binders.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that's the one you all prefer.
Yes, sir. I've got a copy of that if you need it.
Is that something we need to authorize them to?
We have to approve them to accept that particular bid. Where did that rank as far as costs?
Are you talking about
For the first, second, or third as far as lowest cost?
the commission, I believe, was second place in our commission.
But you feel they offer you the best deal?
I do
Best
think so.
service.
They've got a higher rate for video, and they're also giving us $40,000 grant.
Okay, how much are we spending additionally for that, Jennifer?
We're spending on that
It does
contract.
not cost us.
It's not costing us a thing,
The
okay?
contract actually brings money back.
Yeah, I just didn't know if we had equipment in matching it. Okay, tell me the name of them again.
CTC, City Telecoin.
Everybody wanna make a motion?
I make a motion to allow Sheriff's Department to go into contract with CTC for their inmate phone service. For how many years is this contract?
I believe
Was
it's
it
about 4 years.
4 years?
With the option to roll over with one.
Gotcha. Do we have a second? Second. All right, and during discussion, just to let the public know, this did go out for bid. We received quite a few bids, a lot more than I anticipated. And, the sheriff's department has selected, as they said, what appears to be the number 2 on the list, which is normal. You don't always go with number 1, you go with the best bang for your buck. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, motion carries. Now, are you handling sheriff's department employee personnel also?
Yes, sir.
All right, that's next. 7G is Sheriff Mansfield, or his representative, consideration and possible approval regarding employee changes.
Okay, we've got 3 changes on schedule. The first one is the hire of a new jailer, Randolph Crosby, starting salary of $32,000 a year. The next is a change in rank for Michelle Johnson from corporal to jailer. And that's a change from
What do they make, 50 cents an hour, 25 cents an hour more?
it's $100 difference a month, I'm sorry. And then also for Avery Malotsky from a jailer to a corporal position.
Okay, so
So one step down, promoting, another and hiring a new.
Correct.
Do they want to make a motion? Second that?
Up till Kelvin's ready for it.
I was in a reading,
Oh,
okay,
he just reading the form.
I was just trying to see, so one of them is
We hired a new employee
$32,000
and then,
a year, that's the annual starting salary. The other one is a
Corporal that's going down to jailer. And a jailer that's being promoted to corporal.
okay. But those pays are the same on both of those, is that right?
there should be $100 a month difference in a corporal rank pay.
That's not what's shown here. They both have got the exact same salary for the
Who prepared the form?
Heather Blonsky and Michelle Johnson. Unless I'm looking at the wrong numbers.
I didn't see it back there.
Number, this is, we're looking at the number down here.
Right.
Come on. Probably just a.
It'll be different because she's been there longer.
But the
You
number,
talk about on the final salary.
The numbers. She looked at the numbers to show $100 increase.
We'll come back to it.
Well, we can go ahead and approve it if you tell us what the numbers are. Oh, okay. All right, so,
I'm sorry, I just,
all right, so,
we can go, we can at least.
wait, you want to amend your motion to just approve this one?
Yeah.
Should we do Randolph Crosby?
I'll let her read it and we'll bring it back.
All right, so we have a motion to approve the new hire in the sheriff's department personnel. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, we have a second. Any further questions? All in favor? Thank you, sir. Matt, are you out there?
No, it's not here, I'm gonna do it.
Oh, you're doing one? Item number 7H is, our IT department consideration of possible approval regarding declaring surplus equipment to be sold or disposed of, and you have a detailed list of everything.
Yes, sir, there's a list of non-working equipment in front of you and a list, or a short list of the equipment that does work.
My gosh, where's he storing all
I have no idea.
that?
So the request is to declare these items to be surplus, to sell the items that we can on the bills and to destroy the other items.
These 2 pages.
Yes, sir, 2 pages, but the, portrait one is all the list of the non-working equipment. The landscape is what works and its specs that he provided. How old everything is. The stuff that still works is 8, 10, and 12 years old.
I'll make a motion that we approve the surplus or disposable equipment as presented by the IT department via Jennifer.
Second.
Yes, minor surplus and authorized to be sold or disposed of.
Right. So we have a motion, a second, any further discussion? All in favor? Okay. All right, Larry Franks, come on up. Larry Franks, our election administrator, is gonna have 7I, consideration of possible approval of out-of-state travel. For Mr. Franks and Ms. Art, for fiscal year 2021, I believe what Larry is here asking for is an increase because he needs the staff to attend some important training out of state. Is that correct?
Well, the first one is the approval for out-of-state travel.
Oh, okay. And then you're gonna amend the budget.
Correct, that's the second item.
Okay, I don't know why we didn't combine those two, but, all right, so, approval of out of state.
Correct.
Item number I and J are connected, that's what I'm trying to say.
J number 1.
J number 1,
J
yeah.
number 1. This year, there'll be there's 12 courses in the base setup for Brenda to become a CERA, like I am, a certified election registration official. And, she got 8 courses last summer because of the COVID. They did it all online. She got 8 courses. She only needs 4. And so one of those will be in Denver at the election center training in July. And then she'll pick up her last one at the National Election Center Conference in Scottsdale. So those are both out of state. And I want to go with her. I need a renewal course to keep my Sierra active. And so I'm gonna go with her to the National Election Center Conference in Scottsdale to get my refresher course, and that'll be in August. Then we have 2 additional training opportunities. One is the TAEA Annual Midwinter Conference, and that'll be in January, and it'll be down in South Padre. And then the SOS Annual Election Law Conference is gonna be in August in Austin. And so those are our 4 training sessions this coming fiscal year.
All right, before we take a simple vote on, authorizing them to go out of state, I think we can hold on that one and we can vote on I and J at the same time because they really should have been one item on the agenda. Even though they're listed separately, we can still combine them and vote on them at the same time. Let me go ahead and read item number J for into the record. J is under the same topic. Mr. Franks wants consideration possible approval of amending his fiscal 2021 election budget, department budget for travel and training. An additional $9,000 cover additional training budget will increase. His training budget will increase from 7 to 16,000. Now, before we go any further, the 9,000 is a chunk.
Yes, sir.
So,
But there's 4 different training occasions. 3 of them Brenda and I both go to, and one of them just Brenda goes to.
and that's airfare,
Airfare, hotel,
the registration for the conference.
Correct.
Okay.
and then our per diem takes care of.
I don't question your numbers, it just kind of,
Money's gonna have to be pulled out of general.
well, that's what I was, my next question for Jennifer was where would we find this money?
Well, our question to Larry is, will you require your entire postage budget since we're done with the election? Or,
Probably not the whole, I mean, we've done the majority. We'll have cities and schools in May,
okay,
but I don't anticipate near the turn, we won't have 1,600 mail ballots
okay,
for the cities and schools elections.
okay, so part of it we can reallocate postage, the other part of it.
And just got payroll for the election.
Mhm.
I'm trying to remember the number off the top of my head and I can't. But it was like 25,000. And I think we had 35,000 in the budget for
Mhm.
election judges
So,
and clerks.
So if at all possible, we'll find it within his.
yes, it'll come from his budget unless there's just not enough.
We don't have to amend the whole budget, Ken.
Right, it would just be his
so-
line item.
I was just wondering why, with the 7,000 you already had, that's what the cost.
That's what's already in the
gonna
budget.
be, cause I know it's expensive, all that stuff, and, all of this is required.
I would have thought we already had all that in there, but I guess,
Well, usually we use the chapter 19
yeah,
but because of this COVID grant stuff, we had to match it. They took 7,000 out of chapter 19 for the COVID grant.
Okay.
All right, so now that we know what he needs to, money-wise, we can, we can take these separately or together, authorize out-of-state travel, as item number I, and authorize to pay for it to J, or we can do them separately, how do you want to make a motion? One at a time, all right, do I hear a motion to authorize, Mr. Frankston, as designated staff to travel out of state for training?
Make a motion to allow them to travel out of state.
second,
Okay, we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? That's item number 7I, all in favor? All right, 7I passes. 7J is authorization for Larry to work with Jennifer to try and find an additional $9,000 within, if at all possible, Larry's own budget.
Most of it anyway.
Do I have a motion?
That sounds like a motion to me.
so motion,
Yeah, I'll make a motion, I just added that, I think we already found it in there.
But would you give them approval to use that money for that purpose? Okay.
I'll second that.
So we have a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor? 7J passes. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you.
And I'll get with you, Jennifer, at a later time.
Jennifer and I, you were out whenever we came to,
No, but, that's fine, I have forgotten
okay, I was just gonna come back to it, is that all right?
the,
7J is Commissioner Worthing, or who's speaking?
I'm doing it.
Are you doing it? Okay. Is simply consideration possible approval regarding action for employee changes, very simple.
He is, wanting to put on a temporary road crew hand. And he'll start the 11th and the 30th at $12 an hour.
By the way, we're calling this item number J2 since we had 2 changes.
And I understand that's why out of the code, that's gonna be, I guess, intended to be coming out of the code funds, because that's one of those, he's hired to replace one of the jail. So
Probably.
he and I discussed it, so that's what we, so. I'll just clarify.
So I need to give the name of the employee, Chad Hullum.
Public record.
Anyway, $12 an hour. Make a motion to, okay, that.
So a motion and a second, any further discussion? All in favor? All right, unanimous. And that was item number J2 was what we're calling it. All right, item number K is Tiana. Tiana, are you from there, or are you coming up to the podium?
Wherever you want me. I believe y'all.
Podium would be a lot better because you get on the microphone and it gets on the tape. Is that all right? Tiana's going to discuss with us, she's the Commissioner's Administrative Assistant. She's going to discuss with us consideration of possible approval of action regarding proposed holiday schedule for the 2021 fiscal year, and we have that here.
Yes, I believe.
Proposed to a baby crossing.
Yes. It's the typical federal observed federal holidays that we, get approved every year, and it matches with the 35th judicial district court calendar.
Which is the state as well.
Exactly.
This same number of days we normally get,
Yes,
13.
same number of days, yes, sir.
All right, do I hear a motion to approve the calendar as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the new calendar for 2021, presented by Deanna.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to get that. All right, any further discussion? Thank you, Deanna. All in favor? Passes unanimously. And you're up. And our treasurer, consideration of possible action regarding approval of Brown County investment policy. That was a mouthful.
Every year we have to review this investment policy. And Brown County investments shall be made with judgment and care under prevailing circumstances that a person of prudence, discretion, and intelligence would exercise in management of the person's own affairs, not for speculation, but for investment, considering the probable safety of capital and probable income to be derived. Investment of funds shall be governed by the following investment objectives in order of priority. Number 1, preservation and safety of principal. 2, liquidity. And 3, yield. That is the order of importance. I have made no changes in my plans for investments next year. I intend to continue to keep them safe in our CDs at our depository bank. Right now, the economy is kind of looking iffy. We can't tell what's going to happen, but they're safe where they are, and I would like to continue investing in CDs with our depository bank.
All right, that's item number 7L. So how do we need a motion?
I have a paper that I gave for y'all to sign for y'all to approve.
It's a resolution of Commissioners Court, Brown County, Texas adopting investment policy. Whereas the court acknowledges that an investment policy must be adopted to comply with the Public Funds Investment Act, Government Code 2256. And is required by the Public Funds Investment Act, the court must approve the investment policy on an annual basis. Therefore, now be resolved, Commissioners Court, Brown County adopts it on the 23rd day of
That's the wording for the record. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion, we adopt the resolution for the investment policy 2021. No, for the year of 2021, right?
Yes. Do we have a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Any further questions or discussion for Ann? All in favor? There you go, Ann.
Thank you, Ann.
Thank you, ma'am. And I lost my place.
Here, yes.
Item number 7M is from my office, consideration and possible approval of action regarding closing the courthouse for COVID-19 cleaning on November 24th and 25th. I contacted you, I texted you all about that. Nobody had any objections. We can vote on it if we want. I just want to make sure it was read into the record. They are gonna disinfect. We have our, we bought our own COVID disinfecting machines. So they're gonna, we've never used them before, so they're gonna, for redundancy, we are going to do it twice. And then give several days over the Thanksgiving holiday for it to settle. And when we come back on Monday, the courthouse should be clean as a whistle. So, what do you want to do? I've already announced it to everyone, but good, everybody good with it? All right, so, 7, Joel, you okay? 7N is also out of my office, consideration and possible approval regarding entering into a contract funding agreement with Brown County Public Library. It's the traditional one we do each year for the amount that we budgeted this year. How much was that? We did approve it, so.
Yeah, we did, we had a budget line item for the development.
We didn't give them.
Right, so anyway, all the agreement, all I need is permission to sign the contract to provide them the amount of money that y'all already approved in 30,000.
I think it said 30,000.
30,000.
On there, it said 30,000.
I read that somewhere in an email too.
Yeah, it's
Oh, it says it down here on the bottom.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm
on the
sorry.
agreement.
I need to look through my reading glasses closer. Yes, 30,000 for fiscal year 2020 and 2021.
Make a motion to authorize the judge to sign the agreement with railway line.
Second.
I guess it'd be self-serving if I second it now.
I already did.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? All right, I'm signing it as we speak. Now I guess this goes to Stephanie to go over to the library. I'll remember that. Okay, so now we can go back to, item number 7C, Jennifer Robinson, the auditor, consider all matters incident and related to the issuance and sale of Brown County, Texas tax notes series 2020, including the adoption of an order authorizing the issuance of such tax notes and approving all other matters incident thereto. My gosh, did you write
No, I did not.
that?
Eric.
Where's Shane? Shane, did you do that? That sounds like an attorney.
It wasn't.
It wasn't Shane, it was law counsel.
Attorney language.
Good word.
Well, good morning. Eric Maha with Hilltop Securities, and we have a packet of information here. I know we spoke about a month or two ago about tax notes and then possible refinancing of the county's debt. And at the time, we had targeted to look at interest rates around the time of the election. And so we had advised it's probably not the opportune time, so let's wait until this time. And I think you'll see we have the bids in place, and the next three agenda items are orders to approve sale of tax exempt refunding bonds to refinance some existing county debt, taxable bonds to refinance existing taxable bonds in the county, then a tax note issue to fund $2 million in projects. And so, if you'd like, I can go through each, the second page of the handout. We tried to highlight the key terms for each of the three. The bids were received last week, around Wednesday, and then the final results shown on page 1 for each of the three debt obligations. For the refunding bonds, there's $4.4 million. The county has a series 2015A and a series 2017 that's being refinanced. That interest rate came in at 1.61%. The taxable series, and by nature, taxable debt is higher in interest rate. That came in at a 2.82%. And then the tax note, if you recall, the tax notes are limited to a short repayment term. These tax notes are set to mature in 5 years. That interest rate came in at 1.28%.
We did the next one, give them 5-year deal.
Yes, sir. So this will be similar to that. On page 2, we put a snapshot of the actual savings that the county will achieve on the tax exempt refunding. In total, about $357,000 on page 2 in interest savings by refinancing. That takes the rate from a current rate of 3.33% down to 1.61%.
Would you repeat that savings again for the record?
Yes, sir. The total dollar savings in the gray column, $357,669.
Over how many years?
Through 2031, so 10 years. Yes, sir. It's about $36,000 a year in interest savings. That's correct. And that debt's currently callable, so really the only option is to continue paying a higher rate or refinance. So by refinancing, you're locking that in for that 10-year period. And the savings percentage down on the bottom is at 7.457%. That's the percentage of the $4.3 million that's being refinanced. So a very high percentage there. Page 3, that's the taxable refunding. It's smaller. There's about $1.2 million in principal that's being refunded or refinanced. And the annual savings are about $10,000 to $11,000 a year. Total savings $127,000. So 357 plus the 127,000. For the last page, we have a column, total combined savings to the county. Column G, 484,000.
All right, and this project total will be what?
And then for the tax note, we have columns I, J, and K. The total principal and interest on the tax note, 2.147 million. And that's retired within that 5-year period. And then the far column on the column L on the far right, that would be the county's total debt after the refinancing and after the tax note. If we compare that to column B, that's the current debt service. And then column L will be the debt service after.
So I is what we're approving today, correct?
Yes, sir. Columns G and then columns I. Column
Savings and then you're right.
Yes, sir.
The 2.45 million, I just want to make sure the public has a chance to hear that number.
Number 2.245, that's for the infrastructure improvement.
I'm sorry, I said 2.4, it's 2,045,000.
Right. 2.45,
Now,
that's the infrastructure improvement.
All right, now, Jennifer, for the public, for the record, can you tell us how we're breaking that down? I know we've got so much of it going to each precinct, and then we have the rest going to courthouse repairs, and then the balance paying off or consolidating.
So
Refinancing.
the first two were refinancing, so that's not new debt, that's just savings in our money. And then the actual new note, the 2,045,000, we are dividing between the 4 precincts and then the remainder to the courthouse. I believe it was, let me double check. I believe you guys were getting about 300.
I thought we agreed on
300
that.
something.
It was 300, I can get you the exact number, give me just a second.
I know we're gonna approve the total amount, but I just want to make sure the public hears what we're gonna use that money for.
I don't want to know how much does it work courthouse.
Right.
We just did that big one, can't figure what I'm like, about to.
Well, I think
The
now,
bulk of it's going to the precincts, and then I think there was about 150 to 100 left for the courthouse, but I have to double check.
And that's a possible elevator issue.
that's,
Yeah, that is-
now
Yeah,
that's still
that's
funded.
gonna take up, yeah, so that would take
Yeah,
up
that's
pretty
what we
much
talked
the
about.
elevator and,
Wait, I thought we already budgeted for the elevator in our normal budget, you know?
no, that was gonna be part of this tax note.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I would need to see it because we've got, our courthouse was built in 1911 and it's crumbling around us on certain floors. We've got to have, we must be able to cover the cost to keep the building standing.
And that's what this is earmarked for, infrastructure, it's not to go.
Right, but I'm
It's
not
not to
sure.
buy equipment or hire people.
Right, but I'm not sure if it's actually, that's a big difference between 50 and 100,000. It's 50,000, I'm not sure that's gonna get the job done.
But it's, I just want to make sure what does that picture for precinct, what's that leave?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Like 325,000, whatever, for precinct.
I thought it was 3, is it 325?
I don't know.
Because they talked about 250 and I suggested 3.
300 is just 1.2 million.
Yeah, we don't need 800,000, but I would say that we probably need around 150 to 2 for the courthouse. Now, we can return what we don't use.
Sure.
If we get 350,000 per precinct,
Right.
that's 1.4 million, so
Right,
that's more
okay.
than that.
Wow, but we've got the, sort of the fees that are coming out of the,
The 45,000, that's the financial fees, and that came in a little less than we projected. So 2 million will go to the county's construction fund.
so if I'm doing my math, that's still around 500,000 minus, what else will we? There was something else in this. Because the elevator alone is gonna be around 200,000. Is what the elevator company tells me. That's taking out the old one and installing new one, that's what they told me.
Well,
All right, well, we've got the total number. The public has an idea of the intentions of the commissioner's court is to provide each commissioner with additional money to fix streets, which I know we hear about every single day of the week. We call it infrastructure, but for the layperson, we're trying to fill in those potholes and get some more roads paved for you.
well, in my case, we had this bridge, that little water crossing, we had that flat, the agreement's been a little $1,400 to us ourselves, so.
Right.
it was
So,
just a concrete bill.
The total that they need approved today is 2,045,000. Do I hear a motion?
Well,
There's
there's two different motions here, so there's E, C, D, and E here. So,
Well, right now, we're only on C.
I'm not sure which,
well,
that's the, one of
That's
them,
what Chris sent me for the.
That's street.
So item C would be the tax, yes, sir. Item C would be the 2 million tax note. And the next two items would be the 2 refinances.
So are we all gonna do this as one deal?
However y'all want.
I think we have to do it.
I think you'd want to do it separate motions. Yes.
Okay, do we need to do, D and E before C, or,
No, whatever the court's pleasure.
so we know they're all, probability is that they're going to be approved.
Okay, for
I've
item,
been discussing this for a long time.
item C is the $2 million plus financing fees for the infrastructure project, correct?
Total 2,045,000.
Yes, sir.
And the wording is, I move to adopt an order authorizing issuance and sale of Brown County, Texas tax notes, series 2020, and approving all other matters related thereto. There's another water speak. That was the wording. That was the motion. That was the wording they used.
We're making that as a motion.
I believe I did. I guess I did. Yes.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on item number 7C. Any further discussion? All in favor? Passes unanimously, so we'll go to 7D. Consider all matters incident and related to the issuance of the sale of Brown County, Texas general obligation refunding bonds taxable series 2028 as an add-on, including the adoption of an order authorizing the issuance of such bonds and approving all other matters incident thereto. That is 7D. Do you have any additional questions?
And the language, the existing language for the motion that's here.
Yes. You want to make that?
I guess I'll read. I move to adopt an order authorizing the issuance and sale of Brown County, Texas general obligation refunding bonds, taxable series 2020A, and approving all other matters related thereto. Again, and it was lawyers. So that would be the motion for item D.
I will second that one. I haven't got to second anything in a while. So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion for 7D? All in favor? Passes unanimously. Now 7E. Consider all matters incident and related to the issuance and sale of Brown County, Texas general obligation refunding bond series 2020, including the adoption of an order authorizing the issuance of such bonds and approving all other matters incident thereto. That's our final one.
And the difference was this is all part from older debt. One was taxable, one was non-taxable.
Yes, sir.
Right, and I want to reemphasize to our media colleagues out there that we're saving $357,669 and $120,178, and that's over 10 years.
Yes, sir, through 2031.
So that's over a 10-year period. So that is a considerable savings to the taxpayer simply by refinancing and being smart.
So I'll read the motion as suggested for item E. I move to adopt an order authorizing issuance and sale of Brown County, Texas general obligation refunding bond series 2020 and approving all other matters related thereto.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? And that passes unanimously also. Thank you, sir.
December, I failed to mention, it's December 22nd, that's the day the funds will be delivered to the account.
Just put them in circulation.
All right, now we're at item number 8 is commissioner comments, and I know Lisa stayed around for something I've got to say. But before, does anybody else have anything they want to say? We just can't take any action on the items today. But what I would like to do, the mayors and I and Lisa did met on Friday. And it was a very good, productive meeting. As a matter of fact, I'm going to talk to the media about it shortly after this meeting concludes. One of the issues that came from that meeting is that the health department, until this pandemic is over, or at least starts on the downhill side when the vaccine arrives, which we hope to be sooner than later, she needs personnel, and she's out of COVID money to finance them. So what I would like to do, here's what I propose, and just tell me if you object. As the chief executive officer of the county, I'd like to send out an email to every elected official in the county that has employees that work for them. And I would like to get volunteers to perhaps send Lisa an employee 20 hours a week, and then until we're staffing someone over in her office, or at least one person. I'm hoping up to 3 full time. but in 20 hours a week there, 20 hours back here doing their regular job. That's what I'm not sure anybody's gonna bite on it, anybody's gonna take it, but I'd like to send out a communication asking for that. That'd be the best way to do it, so it doesn't cost us a single dime extra.
What kind of position is this?
Well, she needs help with a lot of issues, mainly office and clerical.
Just clerical.
Is that correct?
Yes, phone calls and answering phones and, data entry.
So, is everybody, no action on this, obviously, but if you have any objections, please let me know what those are. That's my plan. And then, of course, I'll present that for formal approval if, at the time that I know how many people are willing to participate. May not be anyone.
So we gotta see somebody buy for that first.
Right. Right.
And if that does not happen, there's plan B.
No, there's not a plan B. She is out of COVID money, and I don't know that, they're not talking about releasing any additional money at this point. Maybe after we're in a presidential administrative transition. We're not sure what's gonna happen with that just yet. So we're in kind of a bind.
What about our COVID money that we still,
Yeah,
we're gonna receive, we still designate exactly where it's all gonna come from?
That would be Bob. He's right behind that door answering questions, or answering phones. If you,
Well,
somebody step in there and see if he can,
I mean, I was just thinking that might be an option, we have to use some of that.
I don't think we have much left in what was
Initial, but we're supposed
initial,
about 400,000.
but that's promised, but it has not arrived.
Yeah, it's still wrong.
The other reimbursement, I think the remainder is not the reimbursement.
He's stepping off,
Okay, we're getting out of, the rest of the additional money's gonna reimbursement, so if it's gonna qualify out.
Yes, sir, and that was, the balance was 707,000, which was like around 600,000.
speaking is Daryl Johnston, our chief of emergency management. Daryl, do you have any idea, what was the last figure you heard on the money cash we have in hand? What the balance was?
I'm thinking around 60,000.
16 or
Roughly
60?
from the advance,
16 or 60?
60.
I was thinking around 55, so I think we're on the same page. But if we start funding part-time personnel, or full-time temporary, for that, we're gonna burn through that like lightning. And we need that money, a big chunk of it, to continue to pay the cleaning personnel that we have. Right, so I don't recommend that we use that. I recommend we just do a volunteer person. We're talking about Plan B.
Let's go for planning, I understand, but I think there's possibly, I bet there is a way that we can maneuver if we need to.
Well, between now and then, how about I dive into it and see what I can find out?
To, maybe that funding, not even that reimbursement funding, which we'll have to find a place where that goes, if not maybe possible.
Well, yeah, and we itemized it as to where we proposed it was going, when we submitted the. And again, I use the word promised. It's not even promised. It's highly probable we'll get that money, but it's not promised. It's designated for us, but whether or not they release it and when, that's the key. All right, if nobody else has anything on item number 8, we'll go back to paying our bills. Item number 6, consideration and approval of payment of any bills as needed. Keep it on purpose. All right, I'll make a motion that we approve paying bills as needed.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Are you gonna make that the original?
Yeah.
All in favor? Motion passes. All right, before I adjourn this, let's get this other one coming around. In the meantime, let's talk about when we want to meet again. Do we need to meet on the 30th? We do not. I recommend that we buy that week.
Well, we're not able to turn in bills really automatically now, and if we're gonna do this, then just close.
Yeah, but that will also give me a chance to get some firm numbers as far as COVID money.
We don't need any bills into
All right, so that means
We gotta turn them in, but we won't pay them.
that means we'll meet on the 7th of December, is that right?
We gonna wait.
The infamous December 7th.
that.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll meet again on December 7th. Pay the bills has been signed and sent around. I think we're good. Then before I say it, we may stop and anything. All right, I'll declare us adjourned. Until the 7th of December. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Sure.
Guys, in the media, you know, if, Willie's gonna send somebody over, I hate to start without.
I don't know.
I think you said.
Yes.